Good afternoon. It is Monday afternoon here in Vietnam, April 14, 2025, just before 3:50 p.m. local time. Following the international news online today, reports are circulating detailing the official Russian response to recent pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump regarding the war in Ukraine. Let's try to understand the message coming from the Kremlin. According to these accounts, the main focus is on comments made yesterday, April 13th, by Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov. His remarks came after President Trump's public call on April 11th for Russia to start acting to end the terrible and senseless conflict, citing the high weekly death toll. How did Mr. Peskov respond to this urgency? According to the information circulating, his tone was significantly more measured, while saying that things, presumably the diplomatic process, are going very well. He immediately cautioned that, of course, no immediate results can be expected. Why the caution? These news accounts quote Peskov explaining that quick breakthroughs in diplomatic talks with the U.S. to end the Ukraine conflict are unlikely. He cited the scale and complexity of the problems that have built up over recent years. Peskov added, "It will be impossible to expect any immediate results. The problems are too complex and have been neglected for too long." Interestingly, Peskov also framed the current efforts in a broader context. He stated that Moscow and Washington are now very patiently working to restore their bilateral relationship, which he characterized as having been damaged under the previous U.S. administration of Joe Biden. He also mentioned that a face-to-face meeting between President Putin and President Trump would happen at the appropriate time and requires proper preparation, keeping the possibility open but non-committal. Thinking critically about this response as reported online, several points stand out. First, there's the contrast in tone and urgency. President Trump, as reported earlier, expressed impatience and demanded immediate action. Russia must start acting. Mr. Peskov, however, emphasizes patience, very patiently working, and complexity, explicitly downplaying expectations for quick results. Is this difference just diplomatic style, or does it reflect fundamentally different priorities or time? A potential positive interpretation of Peskov's remarks could be that Russia is signaling a willingness to engage in a serious long-term diplomatic process, acknowledging the difficulty but committing to work patiently. It manages expectations against unrealistic hopes for instant solutions. However, a potential negative interpretation, perhaps aligning with concerns raised in previous reports about delaying tactics, is that this language "no immediate results, too complex, neglected too long" provides convenient justification for slow progress or inaction on the urgent issue of stopping the fighting. It could be seen as deflecting Trump's call for immediate action. Second, the phrase "going very well" seems slightly at odds with no immediate results expected. What exactly is going very well if tangible outcomes like a comprehensive ceasefire, which Ukraine reportedly accepted conditionally, are not anticipated soon? Does very well simply mean that talks are happening, that the process itself is functioning, rather than achieving substantive progress? Third, Peskov's framing of the problem is noteworthy. By emphasizing the restoration of U.S.-Russia relations damaged under Biden and long-neglected complex issues. Is the Kremlin trying to broaden the discussion beyond the immediate Ukraine ceasefire that the U.S. seems focused on? Does this suggest Russia wants to link progress on Ukraine to other aspects of its relationship with Washington? This response from the Kremlin comes after last week's meeting between U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and President Putin and envoy Kirill Dmitriev. The reports remind us the Kremlin described those talks vaguely as focusing on aspects of resolving the Ukraine conflict, while the White House called the visit another step in the negotiation process. Peskov's latest comments seem consistent with this cautious, non-committal official description of the talks. In conclusion, reading these reports from Vietnam this Monday afternoon, the Kremlin's official response to President Trump's push for a quick end to the Ukraine war seems to be one of cautious engagement, mixed with significantly lowered expectations. While acknowledging talks are happening very well, patiently working, Peskov strongly signals that the deep-seated complexities in the damaged U.S.-Russia relationship mean immediate results are unlikely. Whether this is pragmatic realism or strategic foot-dragging remains the central question emerging from these accounts of the ongoing diplomatic maneuvering.